Alright, this is my transmission stand. I just welded up. I've got the TH704 out of Waco Junior sitting here, and it's got a broken 1-2 accumulator, or accumulator spring, not sure which. And I've got to tear it down and rebuild it. My existing engine stand has an engine on it, and so I needed another engine stand to mount the transmission on, and I needed a transmission fixture. And I went to Harbor Freight. They have engine stands for $65. Not in stock. Well, fine, okay. I went to Patriot Steel out here in Harrah. Bought some 1x3 or 2x3 tubing. I don't know, whatever that size tubing that is. 120 wall. I got about 10 feet of it. Made the welds in the upright, and then I made this fixture up here out of 1-inch tubing. And this is a 2-inch pipe with 120 wall and a 1 3/4-inch pipe with 120 wall. All in all, it ought to hold the transmission just fine. It ought to hold the big block Cadillac just fine. One thing to note, when you weld something like this together, your order of operations for welding matters. I welded the beads on the top and the bottom here first before I welded the side beads so it wouldn't pull the legs one way or the other. The casters were cheap at Harbor Freight. I bought them instead of buying an engine stand because it didn't have engine stands. The hardware is all grade 2. Now, a lot of people would, insist on grade 8 for anything like this, but honestly, the wheels aren't, they're holding weight, but I've got 16 bolts. If they hold 100 pounds apiece, then they're going to hold more than this engine stand will ever hold. The bolts that actually hold the transmission in place are grade 2. I did some research on that. The Tractor Supply sells that grade 2 bolts by the pound, and I got all the hardware for $3. And a grade 8 bolt will hold 940 pounds in shear, half-inch bolt, 940 pounds in shear with no problem. And so with a grade 2 bolt, if it holds a third of that, I'm still golden for this engine stand. So give me a minute here, and I will get this bolted up. On your General Motors transmissions, you have lugs built here in the side of the casing to hold it during manufacture. And there's a bolt hole back here. So I built this fixture to hold all 3 points when you mount it on the stand. It's just a simple matter of getting all 3 of them threaded in. Don't you hate it when you set your tools someplace stupid and you forget that you did it and you have to go looking for them? Now, both of these bolts, I welded the nuts on the inside of the frame here for the bolts to go into the side of the transmission, because you can't find bolts with thread long enough to go all the way through this frame and into the transmission. Now, I'm sure you can, but they're not easy to find. And so I went with putting these nuts on the inside of the frame. If I ever have to bolt up a 4L80 or something like that, and if I find it doesn't fit, I'll just cut these nuts out and weld them on the outside and use them all thread to hold them in place. To clear the transmission, I came 7 inches from the bottom here to the underside of this frame, and I made it, I want to say like 10 inches wide. I'll get a tape measure here in a minute and measure that for you, just so you know if you want to duplicate this for yourself. Starting to get a little snug, which is good. As you can see, it still rotates like that. I had to get an extra long bolt. I used an 1 3/4 bolt in back here so I can feed it all the way through and touch the back side of the case, and that way it won't flop when I get it all the way tightened in. I'm getting a little too excited. I want to bolt this up and see how I bolt the transmission. have these bolts to where I have nuts on the bolts so I can lock it in place so that this won't loosen up while I have it on the stand. The last thing I want to do is be working on the transmission and have it fall on my toes. Alright, so that's locked, that's locked. I think we are good to lift. Yeah, that's all the way down to the case. Let me get a measurement real quick for you. Ten and a half inches. And here we go, the transmission is on there. Already broke it in, completely forgot, thought about it, putting the oil pan under it before I mount the transmission up here, and then forgot about it, mounted the transmission, went to swivel it upward like this, and started dumping transmission fluid all over the floor. But got the pan under it now, it seems to be holding just beautifully. The height is a little high for some people. I'm 6 foot, so it's perfect for me. The measurements of these legs, the legs are 24 inches wide, the cross beam and the upright are 28 inches long. Casters are the Harbor Freight 350 pound a piece casters, so they're good for 1,400 pounds. And then I just got a random bolt stuck in here to hold it upright. I drilled holes after I was done, so I can mount it upright or I can swivel it and have the pan facing up. And that's pretty much that's my big project. Is here soon I'm going to start going through this transmission and building it up to hold up to Wakefield Junior, which should be 400 horse. So I think a 700R4 is the perfect transmission to have overdrive and be able to tow. So thank you for watching.